Hi, my name's John Cordy, and there's good news and there's bad news. The good news is it's Monday, so it means we're talking about a new lick. The bad news is the fan in my room is off, therefore it's hot in this room, and I'm not happy about it. I don't mind telling you, obviously. I was asked on Patreon if I could break down something from a CARLOS Rios tune. Not CARLOS Rios. The tune is Brother to Brother, Gino, something beginning with V. And the guitarist is CARLOS Rios, who played for Lionel Richie, I think, and some other people, but like a session player, I think. And to me, this lick was what jumped out at me from this particular tune. The tune's quite cool. It sounds to me a bit like a Return to Forever tune, but with a bit more kind of standard kind of jazz harmony. And I think CARLOS Rios actually did play for Chick Corea at some point, I think. Could be wrong. Anyway, so in the middle of the tune, it does this, in the middle of the solo, sorry. So the solo, the changes are something like B minor, basically kind of like Sonny. So we're in D major or B minor. So we go from this B minor, and then to get to this G major, we're going to basically do a 2-5-1 in G major. So this A minor to D7. So that's kind of a movement away from D major. So that's the progression vaguely that he's playing over, and he does this thing which has some altered stuff, some altered material happening over the D7 and over the F sharp altered. Something like that. So I'll try and play it again one more time fast, and then we'll start to break it down slower. So at the very end we modulate up to an E flat major, and then he takes the solo in a new direction. So all alternate picked, so it's a bit of a tricky one, and it's kind of quite a lot to think about with this particular thing, this particular lick, but I thought it sounded pretty cool. So let's just talk about it quickly. So obviously that's diatonic stuff. So then over this, so when I was transcribing this, I thought that sounds altered, and coincidentally it is. But you're basically using that D7 is where you're going to be building that altered scale from. Therefore, the D altered scale, or E flat minor, E flat melodic minor. So basically running all the way down. So we need to run down this melodic minor scale and then catch it again with basically a G major 7 arpeggio. And then we got this kind of, it's like a Pat Metheny-ish type enclosure thing. It's very much a jazz thing, Charlie Parker and all these people, but the first place that I heard this kind of thing going on was Pat Metheny, so that's why I make that link in my head. So that, you're enclosing that E. So you're basically now we need to go up the scale, so and then this kind of jazz cliche, I think. So a little bit of a jazz cliche as we go up the B minor kind of scale. And then I think there's like a little bit of a stumble in the middle of the lick. So the way that I sort of modified this to make it all kind of stay completely in time is to do a double pick on that F sharp. So we get that double pick, and then down the pentatonic, and then chromatic, and then back up the pentatonic, and then eventually we end on that B flat. But if you wanted this lick to work completely in B minor, we could just hit a B at the end instead and pretend that that modulation doesn't happen. So that might sound something like this. And that could kind of sound cool. I'll try and stick it in context in a minute. So alternate picking all the way. I think it's a really cool sounding lick, quite jazzy sounding but also quite fusiony, and has a nice shape to it, and once you get the hang of it I think it feels quite good to alternate pick. But as always with these things, start it off nice and slow. I learnt it from the record. I was playing it at full speed, which is kind of tricky to hear, but I think since I've been trying to listen to what Bob Reynolds was saying, you know, and maybe if you can pick things up at full tempo, it means you've got a better chance of picking things up on the bandstand, that sort of thing. You know, it trains your ear to be listening to fast stuff and being able to pick it out. If it is too fast, you can also use the YouTube play speed to slow it down, or you could use the tab that I provided. I think all of them will hopefully be helpful. Certainly as a technical exercise, it's really decent. And I think it's a pretty cool sounding lick. Things to be aware of. I'm doing a little slide down now. So I've got 4 notes on that string. I don't know quite why, but I think that kind of works. Maybe because I need to end up on my middle finger for the arpeggio, really. But yeah, let me know how you get on with it. The tab for it is always be on Patreon, and I'm going to put up a backing track. I'm going to try and play and get this lick into context a couple of times over the backing track. But yeah, let me know how you get on with it. Hopefully this is a cool one. I'll probably... What's going on over there? But if you've got other licks from people like this that you think would fit into this kind of... If you've got other licks that you think might fit into this kind of context, do shoot them my way and say, can you break this one down? Particularly if you're a Patreon member, that's kind of what I'm looking for from you. Hopefully so I can show you something that you want to see. So that was the Carlos Rios lick from Brother to Brother. And yeah, let's try and drop it into context here. But if you want to check out the tab for it, it'll be on my Patreon. And yeah, let's see you playing it if you can, or if you want to. And yeah, if this was useful to you in any way, there's a Buy Me a Coffee link, or there's a Patreon, ways you can support me. But even if you can't do that and can't afford to do so, do leave a like and a comment and other suggestions, and I'll be happy to look at those. Thank you for stopping by. Cheers.